Shalom, all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. My name is Jacobo from Plaintables Camp. This is 2nd Ezra 15, started about 28. It goes into Arabia, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, and various other places. The Panamanians, when you looked it up, that's referring to Iran. It said they're going to come together. Also, the Panamanians raging in wrath shall go forth as a wild boar of the wood. With great wrath, with great power shall they come and join to battle with them, and they shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. All right, so you're going to have the physical land of America, Babylon, which that's the land of Assyria. That's the new land of Assyria. Assyria, Babylon, Edom. When referring to the land, is referring to Great Babylon, America. All right. So the countries that have the nuclear fire, they're going to totally destroy the wasteland portion of Assyria, which is destroying the whole land. Now, in the war that's going to be fought in the east, the Middle East, all right, in the land barren and desolate, Saudi Arabia, all those forces are going to be destroyed. I told you about this thing that's going to come up. I believe that's in the book of Job. All right. So the key points here are joining the battle together. The Iranians and Ishmael, the Arabs, are going to come together and they're going to destroy Esau, Edom in war. Now you have here, there was an attack in Iran, which some people are claiming that the government of the Khazar-Jays did it. All right. So whether that's true or not, this can be an excuse to escalate things in the region, in the with the Palestinian Khazar-Jay war. So all those people, the Ishmael Arabs and the Iranians in the different states, like Afghan, I believe they descend from Elam. I don't believe they're Arabs, if I'm not mistaken. It might be mixed population. All right. All those countries, all right, that have the capability, that have nuclear capability, like India, China, all those nuclear missiles are going to be used. All right. They have, like in the West, they'll say different, like Afghan, Iraq, Iran, Yemen, those countries that embrace the religion of Islam, they say they support terror or they're involved in terrorism. All right, those forces, they're going to join those forces together, and they're going to fight over there in the east, in the desert.
Yeah, let's get to the news of the day. The Associated Press reports that 2 bombs exploded and killed at least 95 people today at a commemoration for prominent Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. We'll remember, years ago when that initial killing happened, he was killed by the U.S. in a 2020 drone strike. We don't have video of the explosion that happened in Iran today, but you can hear it briefly in this clip. Let's take this. Okay, so no one immediately claimed responsibility for the attack. You hear some of the panicked voices of the people that were in the immediate vicinity over there. Alone, the Middle East is already on edge over Israel and Hamas. What implications does today's news have on this war?
So first of all, I'll just add that since the initial reports, the reports in Iran at least are indicating at least 210 or 211 people have been killed in these 2 explosions. So it's even a lot greater than was initially reported in the Associated Press. And the implications could be vast. Iran and Iranian president and Iranian supreme leader immediately blamed Israel, said that it was collaborators of the Mossad that had to do with this. I will say from my own analysis, that is highly unlikely. There does not appear to have been any dominant political figure, rather just massive carnage of people who were around the tomb site on the anniversary of Qasem Soleimani's death. It fits the profile more of different non-state actors that are operating within Iran, and there's a lot of them. There's the Baluchistan forces coming out of Pakistan. There's ISIS. There's Al-Qaeda. It fits more their profile rather than attacks that are carried out from Israel, just from a strategic point of view. States don't usually tend to carry out these acts unless they actually are managing to, or attempting at least, to kill prominent figures, such as Qasem Soleimani, or we're going to talk later about Salah al-Aruri, and things like that. So in terms of who is responsible, it is far more likely to be a non-state actor, I'll say at least at this point. However, that does not mean, as you stated, the Middle East is very on edge. That does not mean that it's not going to be used in order to fuel escalations elsewhere. Iran can use this in order to now justify further attacks it will carry out, let's say, against maritime vessels in the Indian Ocean, or support that it gives the Houthis in their attacks in the Red Sea. So it is likely to pour more fuel on the fire.
Right, the Houthis are descent from Ishmael. They're considered Arabs. All right, that goes along with the 2 Ezra 15.
Even though it unto itself may not have been actually part of the ongoing Israeli struggle with Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, it may have been something unrelated. It is still likely going to contribute to these escalations.
And alone, we also want to play this video. So an airstrike killed senior Hamas leader Saleh al-Aruri yesterday in an attack widely attributed to Israel per Reuters. This crosses off a big name from Israel's most wanted list, but could this drive other exiled leaders deeper into hiding?
Very likely, yes, although most of the exiled leaders were not living in hiding. Ismail Haniyeh, Khalid Mashal, and Salah al-Aruri, all of these leaders are prominent figures. They're public figures. Ismail Haniyeh lives very, very openly in Qatar, and Khalid Mashal also, Salah al-Aruri, Khalil al-Khaya, all these names, these are people who were very much out in the open. Israel's not carried out such a high-profile assassination against a senior Hamas leader for years. This attack is very, very significant. Salah al-Aruri not only was the deputy leader of Hamas, not only was he the person in charge of the Al-Qassam brigades in the West Bank, he's also one of the figures who is, while Hamas attributed him, called him the architect of October 7th attack. That is very unlikely that he actually had anything to do with October 7th attack specifically, but he is the architect of developing the strategy of Hamas, that is to say, attacks should not only come from Gaza. He wanted to create a ring that would suffocate Israel with Hamas attacks from Gaza and other terrorist attacks from the West Bank, and Hamas and Hezbollah from Lebanon. He's really responsible for creating these connections to also the militias in Syria. So attacking him not only is a very, very symbolic step, it is a very practical step. He is the person who is very much in charge of all these connections. These images that you're seeing on the camera that you're showing are his connections to Iran, his connections to Hezbollah, his connections to the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. So in that sense, it's a very, very significant step in Israel's fight against Hamas, but more importantly, it's also a symbolic step, and saying Hamas leadership abroad is no longer seen as something that is different and separate from the war in Gaza, as far as assuming that Israel is the one who carried this out. Israel hasn't admitted that, but I think we can safely assume that that is the case. Then Israel's trying to state the war is an all-out war against Hamas wherever they may be. There's something very powerful and symbolic about this operation that was carried out, specifically in Dahya in Beirut, which is the stronghold of Hezbollah as well. It's a message to Hezbollah as well.
When we talk about much of what al-Aruri was known for before these attacks, is there any clarity on perhaps what role he's been playing within Hamas since October 7th? And perhaps what Hamas is losing with his death?
So since October 7th, Hamas has been desperately trying to drag everyone else into the war. The morning of October 7th, Hamas called upon Hezbollah, the Palestinians in the West Bank, the Houthis, the militias in Yemen. They called upon everyone to join this regional war to finally eradicate Israel once and for all. Much to Hamas's astonishment.
Well, they're not the people, the original people of Israel. They're the Khazars. All right, they're Edomites. The people, the real people are so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and our people scattered within the other nations. All right, they are imposters. They are not the authentic. They're not the real McCoy. We are.
Hezbollah did not join the war. Hezbollah is very angry at Hamas for launching the
war. Right, it's not on the right timetable. That's all. It's not on the right timetable. All right, those Ishmaelites and Elamites and Iranians, Persians, Eventually, they are going to get together. All right, it's just we're really on Yahweh's timetable. All right, they have different spirits holding the nuclear fire back, holding the Third World War back. You go to Revelation 7, in the first few verses, you have an angel that was given commission over the nuclear fire. All right, 7:3 saying, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads." Then tells you the 12,000 out of each tribe. All right, and then the Israelites scattered amongst the nations. All right, so they can't go to war until the Lord says so, or the Most High gives Yahweh Shai the orders, and then Yahweh Shai gives those angels the orders to proceed.
The war without actually coordinating with it in advance. According to an expose that was done, I believe, by the New York Times, although I'm not sure. It was a very, very in-depth expose. And sorry, it wasn't by the New York Times, it was by Le Figaro newspaper in France. That looked at how October 7th was orchestrated. They stated that Hamas sent messages to their representatives in Lebanon, that's Khalil al-Haya and Salah al-Aruri, half an hour before the October 7th attack was launched, telling them, this is about to be launched now, go tell Hezbollah to join the war. And Hezbollah felt slapped in the face. They were not coordinated with them in advance. And since then, Salah al-Aruri's main role since October 7th has been...
Yeah, I don't know how the hell they know that, but okay. You go to Jeremiah 49:20, Jeremiah 50:45. All right, this is referring to Amalek, Edom. All right, the least of the flock is Amalek. All right, it's referring to Edom. So we know Babylon and Edom are synonymous. All right, the Chaldeans and Teman are synonymous. Jeremiah 49:20, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that have taken against Edom, and his purpose, that he hath purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate. All right. Yeah, the Third World War is going to make where it takes place desolate, whether it be Babylon or the desert where they fight, because all of them are going to be put to death. All right, Babylon, America is going to be completely burnt to nothing, and it's going to be a flame of fire here for a long time, and the elect is going to be delivered from Babylon.
Then Salah al-Aruri's main role since October 7th has been to try to organize this international coalition, to try to place pressure on Hezbollah. And if Hezbollah was not willing to throw its full weight into the war, which is by no means has done, then to possibly orchestrate a lot of pressure against the Houthis or against the Iranian militias. So in that sense, Salah al-Aruri's role has been very regional. It has been to try to coordinate Hamas's activity in Lebanon, as well as the militias in Syria, as well as possibly coordinating with Hezbollah and the Houthis. And his death is going to be a big strike against that. And that is one of the things that Israel has done in the last month. Again, attacks are, I say Israel, attributed to Israel. Israel is not taking responsibility for them, but I think we can safely say that the assassination of Raza Mousavi, who was one of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards who was assassinated in Syria, also the person in charge of this coordinating weapons smuggling between Iran and Hezbollah, Israel seems to have decided to take to the next step, the attempt to circumvent and launch strikes against this regional ring that is funding and orchestrating these attacks from the north, possibly in order to try to avoid a full-scale war breaking out in the north. Others have speculated that Israel is actually trying to drive towards the breaking out of a full-scale war, but does not want to launch the initial strike against Hezbollah, so instead it is constantly escalating more and more, attacking these public figures to get Hezbollah to launch the first strike. But either way, Israel seems to have openly declared, we are now coming after anyone who plays a critical role in fueling this regional development from Iran, Syria, Lebanon in the war between Israel and Hamas.
And you may have already just touched.
All right, so the Khazar Jade saying they're going after everybody in the region. All right, so they're definitely going to precipitate the Third World War, because a few years ago I really couldn't see it. All right, but I knew, because nothing was they weren't really on the news for the like going out attacking people. Now I can clearly see that the Khazar Jays are going to precipitate the Third World War. somehow, some way, and they're going to attack the wrong person. They're going to be in the wrong place at the right time. All right, or right place at the right time, and they're going to come together. And they're going to burn. They're all going to get burnt up, or turn to stink in the land of Arabia. All right, hope you edified. Shalom.